Hey, everybody, welcome to the Hunt Club podcast, Cyber Minds edition. Returning guest, if you haven't seen part one of our conversation with Wes Ferris. Wes, I'll have you introduce yourself. You and I know each other pretty well now at this point, but why don't you introduce yourself to people that didn't tune into part one?
Sure. Thanks, Flourish. Yeah, Wes Ferris, been in cybersecurity for like 20 years now, enterprise IT for even longer than that. Don't want to date myself, but yeah, primarily in the healthcare space, and heavily focused in security and compliance and running a program from soup to nuts.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah. The last time we talked, hey, first of all, congratulations on being a legend of cybersecurity. Vector recognized you on, I think, LinkedIn and social media. And I'm like, God, Wes is a legend. Like, I'm nervous now because I'm talking to a legend of cybersecurity. But the last time we talked about hiring, right? And what do you look for in cybersecurity talent? We had a great conversation. For those of you who haven't heard that one, tune into that podcast. It's pretty good. Um, but then I wanted to foray this one into, you have a really interesting, unique, um, I'm not going to call it a side gig because that would undermine it a little bit, but tell the audience, like, in addition to leading a cybersecurity team in practice, what's your other passion?
Sure. Yeah. So we travel a lot as a family and as a couple, and so a few years ago, I was thinking about ways to really supplement that and do more of that later on in life, and how would I do that and balance it with the career. And so I ended up going back and getting a degree in clinical counseling, and now I have a small practice in clinical counseling. So kind of information security officer by day and therapist by night, so to speak. I've been doing that for the last couple of years, and I love it. And it's really seasoned the way that I manage and that I hire and lead the team. And I like to, my style of management and the way that I would try to build something out, even more broad spectrum in a company, is like compassionate leadership, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the phrase I've coined and I think about. But how do you build a team, and how do you lead um, in a compassionate way?
Yeah, where do those two worlds intersect? Do you find those two worlds are intersecting every day in your day-to-day kind of role as a leader?
They do for me, because it tempers and seasons the way that I approach any human resource situation. So whether it's just with my own more intimate team, or if it's broader than that, it it seasons the way that I approach everybody these days. So it's very different than before. I got that training, and then just um, when you're counseling people and you are given that visibility and trust, and they let you into their lives, and you see people again, all these different patterns and families and individuals lives and stuff. It gives you a completely different perspective on how you manage people
Yeah.
in the work environment.
Well, even how you like you learn to, I would imagine, being a clinical counselor or therapist, um, you have to be a good listener, right? And
Yep.
you have to be a good, you have to be really good at asking questions, right? And then listening. And I'd imagine those skills are um, really valuable in leadership, regardless of if it's cybersecurity leadership or leadership in general, right? So I am not a clinical counselor, but we often talk about how good of a listeners are we, right? And how good are we at asking um, questions, right? Where someone doesn't feel challenged by the question or put off by the question, but do you find that happens often that, as you're working with your team, your therapist brain turns on and you're just listening?
Always. Yeah, I it that. switch, it flips always, I would say, anymore. And yes, the way I listen, the I'll take extra time to rephrase, what I'm hearing, and make sure that I'm like we're communicating effectively, and I'm understanding exactly what they're trying to tell me or explain to me. And then I'll even, dig a little bit deeper into that with them. So like it brings more out of the conversation. And certainly I think, not only does it give me the opportunity to fully understand what they're asking for, or trying to express to me, but it actually connects us on a deeper level as people, right? after
Yeah.
you after you go through that type of an exchange with someone, it's different than just a surface level back and forth, let's address the issue type thing and then move on. That's a completely different feeling, and I enjoy that, a whole lot more than the way that I used to do things. Because I think to be a good clinical counselor, you have to be empathic, you have to want to connect with people. That's why you're there. And so if you can bring that into your management style, then it builds tighter, stronger teams, and I think, everybody kind of understands each other better.
Yeah, is in that realm is the notion of we've heard a lot about this for the last, I don't know how long, 3 years, 4 years, about this notion of analyst burnout in the workplace, security burnout in general. The security job is not. We had another topic queued up, like, what do you do in your spare time? And it's like he said, we don't have a lot of spare time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's got to come up quite a bit in conversations, right? Or do you feel it, right? Do you, as a leader and clinical counselor, what do you see that rear its head? Not maybe not overtly, but covertly.
So we I try to provide a really good work-life balance on my team. And we do work a lot of hours, and we work, cybersecurity, information security. Whenever you have to investigate something, whenever something comes up and you got to dig into it, who knows what time of day that could be. On the weekends, I ping my team a lot on the weekends. Hey, let's dig into this, ad hoc, all the time. So outside of that, as long as we're, um, progressing in our project type work, and doing the things we need to do there, I try to be as flexible as possible. And a lot of times I'll have team members, they'll say, "Hey, I've got this going on at the house. This is what's happening," and they'll
Yeah,
kind of ping me on the clinical counseling side a little bit. And then also like, "Hey, can I have, the time to take care of this?" And usually the answer is yes, man, please go address that, get the situation resolved, get your head clear, and then come back.
yeah, yeah,
So again, it's about compassion and understanding and being reasonable about things. Yes, we have a job to do. Everybody on my team, I'm so blessed to have people that are, um, they're interested, they're motivated, and they love what they do. And so all of that part of the equation is really addressed for me, thankfully. And so, um, we can manage around the other stuff. As
yeah.
long as you have those things and people are there for the right reasons, then
Right.
you can do a lot of this, the other stuff, manage the way that I like to.
Yeah, going back to our previous episode where we talked about hiring talent, what you look for in talent, it's like, and you just touched on it in terms of like, okay, and it's almost like a full circle. What you look, how you hire, who you hire, kind of what you look for in people. You know, people that are there for the right reasons, are okay feeling vulnerable. There's an element of psychological safety obviously involved, right? Where you in a team environment, but at the same time, um, security practitioners, whether they're analysts or architects or whomever, leaders, um, same goes for marketing, sales, you name the profession. I think sometimes we forget that we want to feel fulfilled, like we've done something or accomplished something, even if it's little, right? and be in a team where that psychological safety is there. Do you find that is rewarding? You've built a culture where there's a tremendous amount of psychological safety and people are okay being open and honest and vulnerable with you. But then the flip side of that, that enables them to fulfill something for themselves, correct? Or am I you following me on that? Do they go hand in hand?
They do because I try to leave enough room in every position so that they can accomplish what they want to accomplish with that. It's not just about my goals or the organization's goals. It's like, well, what do you want to get? How do you want to bring you to the table, and how do you want to flavor what we're doing here based on your skill sets, based on the things that you're interested in, as long as it's in the space, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um, just like we have a huge initiative right now to expand our use of AI as a company and as an IT department. Well, if I've got a team member, I'm particularly interested in that myself. And then if I do have team members that are also interested in that, so we do extra research in that space, right? And we're given the latitude to be able to do that. So as just one example.
that's our next talk. I want to pick your brain on and kind of compare and talk about how you're using AI in your day-to-day job, how your team is. I mean, it's everywhere, right? So it's like you have to be pretty pragmatic about it and do the research and figure out where it's applicable, where it can help. We're going to tee that one up, but to put a bow on this one and wrap this one up, do you have three pieces of advice as a clinical counselor, as a therapist? Three things that security leaders should embrace, right? To aid in the development of their team, so to speak. What are three things? Three takeaways. What would they be?
Uh, I would say again something we've already talked about. Um, try to be a good listener and afford your team members the opportunity. Have an open door policy, right? And make a comfortable environment to where if they feel that they need to, they will reach out to you, right? In a lot of environments, a lot of corporate cultures, right? It's not an open door policy; it's closed door, and like, hey, I need to wait and schedule a meeting and have to approach things in a specific way. So have an open door policy. um, Team build as much as you can, as much as the job will afford it. And you know, post COVID and remote workforce situations, meet in person at least once a week
Yeah,
with your team. Um, you know, in-person meetings are super important for collaboration and the human aspects of the job. And try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And so as the third kind of principle there, try to keep an open mind, try to give people benefit of the doubt, and take the extra time to make sure that you're not making assumptions or presumptions about a particular situation or a person before you have all the information.
yeah, yeah. Sound advice, no matter the profession.
All right.
Compassionate leadership, empathetic leadership. Wes, awesome. Thanks again for jumping on. I'm going to tee you up for another one on AI. We have to talk about AI and kind of the role that plays in our day-to-day jobs and kind of where we think it's. I'd love to pick your brain on where you think it's ready and where you think it's like, well, it's got some it's got some ways to go, so to speak. But
No,
again,
that sounds great.
yeah, again, legend, Wes Ferris. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll tee up the next one with you. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, everybody.